Barnes and Nobles. So this is a link to Barnes and Nobles. So you could follow this link if you uh, want to get access to Barnes and Nobles through Canvas. That's available. Now my lab and mastering is an important one, so I left that for the last. So let's go into my lab and mastering, and I show you a couple of. So this is actually the link through Canvas to my lab statistics. So here we your initial page might not look like this. You may have to uh, uh, log in, set things up initially, and then once that is done, you then any other time you log in, you would see this page. So the initial setup might be different, but once you get things set up correctly, this should be what you would see whenever you click on my lab and mastering, which you'll be doing a lot often because that's how you'll be assessing the assignments. So let's go into my lab and mastering. Okay, so when you go to my lab and mastering, it takes you to Pearson's webpage for statistics, so my lab statistics, and here we have a couple of things listed. So your assignments are all available here, and then you also have the e-text. So the e-text is essentially the textbook for the course, and it's listed here from chapter 1 all through to chapter 4, but we are covering chapter 1 through chapter 10. So you have the text available here. Also, when you go to the course home, it shows you which assignments are due in the nearest possible time, and it also shows you your progress, your grade book, basically. So yeah, so this is how you would be assessing your homework. I mean your assignments, exam, homework, and so on and so forth. Is an easier way to assess them. Also here you would find StatCrunch. So here is StatCrunch, the link to StatCrunch. When you click on sorry, when you click on StatCrunch, it takes you to this page, and then you could go to the StatCrunch website. So you have the StatCrunch website, and then from the StatCrunch website you have various things listed here. So on top here you see the open StatCrunch, which when you click will give you a blank page to work with in StatCrunch. But for StatCrunch, whenever you have any assignment to complete in StatCrunch, there will be enough information to describe the process, steps you have to go through in order to get a task accomplished in StatCrunch. So you wouldn't have to worry much, but just watch the StatCrunch videos when needed, and then you should be fine. Okay, and also here you have tools for success, and it also provides another link to the StatCrunch videos here. So you have StatCrunch video tutorials. So that's another way to access the videos. Okay. All right. So one other important thing here is the preface to students. So here it gives you a video description on how to use my lab statistics, essentially. So it's something you should watch, not too long, just under 20 minutes, and it should help you a lot as you go through the course. It shows you how to navigate through these and what to do at what time. Okay, so now I want to talk about assignments. So let me go to the assignments. So here we have the list of assignments. And so this is the list of all the assignments that you need to do. Okay. Now the pattern for the assignment is going to be like this. So you would first have to do to read through the material from the e-text, and then after watching, once you understand the material, you go into the interactive assignment. So let's start from here. So for instance, the first thing you see here is interactive assignments. So this interactive assignment is for section 1.1, and it precedes section 1.1 homework. Now what would happen is you need to score 70% or more on the interactive assignment in order to assess section 1.1 homework, and the same applies to the rest. So you do the interactive assignments, get 70%, proceed to the section homework. And so after completing, say, chapter 1, you have an end of chapter review quiz, which you will take. And then after taking the end of chapter review quiz, you also have end of chapter review homework. Now, the end of chapter review quiz is due once you are done with the chapter. The due date would show, and then the end of chapter review homework may not be due immediately, but I advise that you still do it once you've completed the chapter. And so the advantage you get is once you complete the end of chapter review homework and you're able to score 70% on that as well, you could then come back and work on the end of chapter review quiz, which you already did, to improve your score, basically. So you get 70% on the end of chapter review homework, and then you get access to, you get to come back to the end of chapter review quiz, and then complete it to improve your score. So this will be for chapter 1. You repeat the same thing for chapter 2, repeat the same for chapter 3. At the end of chapter 3, you have the exam. So at the end of chapter 3, if you decide to wait and do the end of chapter review quizzes, review homework, those would be due at the end, just before the exam. So before exam 1, the first 3 end of chapter review homeworks would be due. So if you decide not to do them early and wait till after the 3 chapters, well, that is also fine, but it may not be very helpful if you delay for that long. So it's better to do them earlier and have the opportunity to work on the chapter review quiz to improve your score. So after every 3 chapters, you should expect an exam. So after the first 3 chapters, there is an exam. That's exam 1. After the next 3 chapters, exam 2, and then after the next 3 chapters, exam 3, and then after chapter 10, we have the final exams, which is comprehensive, actually. Okay, so that's going to be the format for the assignments, and then you also have the syllabus quiz. Don't forget that one. And another thing is, so I already showed you how your grades are going to be assessed from Canvas. So you notice from here that homeworks will account for 20%, so all the section homeworks, and then the quizzes would account for 10%, the projects would account for 10%, and then exam would account for, the midterm exams would account for 45, there are 3 of them, and the final would account for 15, which gives you a total of 100, and 1 bonus point from the syllabus quiz. Okay, so about the project. So the projects would show up as when necessary. So what I mean by that is, so the projects are supposed to prepare you towards they are supposed to prepare you on how to use StatCrunch in order to be able to successfully go through the section homeworks and the quizzes and the exam as well. So you would have the project popping up, and once you have the project pop up in the announcements, you just go and do it before moving to the next section, because you will need some skills from the project in order to accomplish the assignments that are due afterwards, in particular skills with regards to the use of StatCrunch. So you do the project and then acquire those skills and then proceed to the section homeworks, and that should be easier. So finally, the exams would be opened 9 a.m. on the days that they are due. So the 3 midterm exams and the final exams, they will be open from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. on the days that they are due. And you have 50 minutes for 50 minutes for the midterms, and the final is going to be a comprehensive 2-hour exam. Also, the passwords for the exams would be made available to you about 10 minutes ahead of the start of the exam. So usually around 8:50 you have the passwords available, so you could start the exam any time during the period stated from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. You need to make sure you complete the exam within that period, and that should be fine.